Adrian stared into the mirror, toothbrush hanging from the corner of his mouth. The steam from the shower curled around his face like fog, but he wasn't seeing his reflection. Not really. He was thinking about the dream again, that dream. The one that always ended with a pair of familiar hazel eyes, too close, and lips that never quite reached his. "Babe, you using all the hot water again?" Marcus's voice echoed down the hallway. Adrian forced a smile and called back, "You like your showers lukewarm anyway." They laughed. The joke landed. But the silence that followed was too quick, too practiced. He rinsed, spit, and stared at his own eyes for a moment longer. They looked tired. Breakfast was quiet. Marcus scrolled on his phone. Adrian picked at his toast. This had become their normal. Comfortable, stable, hollow in a way he could never quite describe. Marcus was good to him. Smart, funny, loyal. But the space between them lately felt more like a wall than a pause. As Marcus left for work, he kissed Adrian's cheek. "Love you," he said, like a script. "Love you too," Adrian replied. The words tasted like routine. He waited for the door to shut. Waited for the sound of the car pulling out of the driveway. Then he walked back to the kitchen, unlocked his phone, and opened the photo album labeled Before. It was a collection of blurry selfies, shirtless pool shots, and sunsets from a town that felt like a dream now. The folder hadn't been opened in months, maybe longer. But today he couldn't resist. He tapped on the photo. 2 boys grinning, sweaty from biking, one flashing the peace sign, the other flexing a bicep and sticking out his tongue. That one, the bold one, was Noah. Adrian's thumb hovered over the image. They'd been best friends since 2nd grade. Neighbors, partners in crime, inseparable until the summer Noah moved away. 16. That was the age. The last summer. The last time they saw each other. Noah had always been chaos in a human body. Loud, fearless, always 2 steps ahead. Adrian had been the quieter one, the follower, the one who admired him in secret. Noah flirted with girls, got into trouble, dared Adrian to climb trees too high or swim too far. But behind all the noise there were moments, electric, strange moments. Like the night they watched a storm roll in from Noah's roof. Rain started falling, but neither of them moved. Noah turned, looked at him, eyes serious for once. "You ever think about kissing a guy?" he asked. Adrian froze. "No." Noah had smirked, leaned a little closer. "Liar." And then his mom called from inside, and just like that, the moment was gone. They never talked about it again. Noah moved away a week later. Adrian cried in secret for a month. The years rolled on. Adrian moved to the city, fell in love with Marcus, started a new life. And Noah became a ghost, one that visited sometimes in dreams, in certain songs, in half-finished thoughts. Until today. A notification pinged. Instagram. A message request. Adrian's heart skipped. He didn't recognize the username at first, at Noah. Not quite. But the profile picture, it was him. Older, sharper, just as cocky. Guess who's finally 18 and back in town? Adrian stared at the message like it was a grenade. The breath caught in his throat. 18. He typed, then erased. Typed again. Settled on. "No way. You're back." The reply was instant. "Miss me or something?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. Not yet. But his body felt hot, alert in a way it hadn't in months. Maybe years. The next message came before he could put the phone down. "Come see me. Don't make me knock on your door." Adrian's chest tightened. Noah didn't even ask if he was single. He probably didn't care. He'd always been bold like that. Daring. Dangerous. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was stupid. Reckless. He was in a committed relationship. Happy, wasn't he? Still, he typed, "Maybe." Then he deleted it. Replaced it with, "When." Adrian stood outside the cafe, heart pounding like he was 15 again. He hadn't told Marcus where he was going, just said he had errands. He hated lying. But right now, guilt was drowned out by curiosity and something far more dangerous. anticipation. The bell above the door jingled as he stepped inside. The air smelled like coffee and cinnamon. Then he saw him. Noah. He was leaning back in a corner booth, arms spread like he owned the place. Tight black tee, ripped jeans, hair tousled just enough to look like he didn't care. He glanced up from his phone, grinned like no time had passed. "Damn," Noah said, eyes raking over Adrian, "you got hot." Adrian rolled his eyes, sliding into the booth. "Nice to see you too." Noah leaned forward, elbows on the table. "Still shy." "I like that." Adrian tried to keep it cool, but Noah's gaze had weight. "You look different." "Yeah, puberty hit like a truck. Lucky you weren't around to see the awkward phase." Adrian chuckled, but it felt shaky. Being here with Noah again was like stepping into a memory, except now everything pulsed with an adult edge, more charged, more deliberate. "So," Noah said, voice dropping just a bit, "you gonna tell me about the guy? Or are we pretending you're single for the day?" Adrian stiffened. "I'm with someone. Marcus. We've been together 4 years." Noah nodded, unfazed. "Is he good to you?" "Yes." "You happy?" Adrian opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Noah smirked. "Didn't think so." The words hit like a slap, but the worst part was how right they felt. Noah stirred his coffee, then said, "You ever think about what would have happened if I kissed you that night?" Adrian looked down. "I try not to." "Liar." Adrian looked up sharply, but Noah didn't flinch. "I remember everything about that summer," Noah said. "Especially the way you looked at me when you thought I wasn't paying attention." Adrian swallowed hard. "We were kids." "I wasn't," Noah said. "Not when it came to you." There was a silence between them, thick and dangerous. Then Noah reached out and brushed a crumb from Adrian's lip. The touch was barely there, but it sent a shock down Adrian's spine. "I'm not here to ruin your life," Noah said casually. "Just to remind you what you buried." Adrian pushed his chair back, stood. "I should go." Noah leaned back, lazy and calm. "Okay. But you'll come back." "You want to know how I know?" Adrian paused. "Because no one's ever looked at me the way you did. And no one ever made you forget me." Adrian walked out, lungs burning. He told himself it was over. That he'd seen Noah, said hello, and that was enough. But it wasn't. The next day, Noah messaged again. "Walk with me. No pressure. No touching. Just talk." Adrian stared at the message. Then typed, "Where?" The park was quiet, except for the crunch of leaves underfoot. Noah walked beside him, hands in his pockets. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Noah said. "I wasn't going to." And yet. Adrian didn't answer. They walked in silence for a while. It wasn't awkward, it was charged, thick with things unsaid. Then Noah said, "You used to blush every time I said your name. You remember that?" Adrian scoffed. "You used to say it like it was a sin." "Maybe it was. Maybe it still is." Adrian stopped walking. Turned to him. "Why are you doing this?" Noah stepped closer. "Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. Not after I left. And I told myself I wouldn't come back until I was legal, until you couldn't use age as an excuse." Adrian stared at him, stunned. Noah smiled, soft this time. "You were always the one thing I never finished." Adrian shook his head. "I have a life now." "Then why are you shaking?" Adrian didn't realize he was. Noah reached out, slow, deliberate, fingertips grazing Adrian's hand. "I said no touching last time. I didn't say anything about this time." Adrian pulled back. "Stop." Noah didn't chase. "I won't push. But I'm not walking away, either." Adrian turned, walked back toward the parking lot, heart hammering. He got home to find Marcus waiting. "You okay?" Adrian nodded. "Just needed some air." Marcus kissed his forehead. "You seem distant lately." "I'm fine," Adrian lied. But he wasn't. He was unraveling. And Noah wasn't going anywhere. That night, a new message appeared. "You don't have to say it. I know you still feel it. I'll wait." Adrian stared at the screen, pulse thundering. He didn't delete the message. The city blurred past Adrian's window, his fingers clenched around the steering wheel. He told Marcus he had a late meeting, another lie stacked on the growing pile. Marcus had smiled, trusting. Too trusting. Adrian hated himself for it, but not enough to turn the car around. Noah's address came with a winking emoji and a simple message. No expectations. Just come. The apartment building was tucked behind a row of old brick shops. When Adrian knocked, the door opened immediately. Noah stood barefoot in low-slung joggers and a thin tank that clung to his body like a second skin. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just stepped aside and let Adrian walk in. The place was small, studio-style, barely furnished. A couch. A bed. One chair. One window. It smelled like sandalwood and heat. Adrian lingered near the door. I shouldn't be here. Noah closed the door gently behind him. But you are. Silence stretched. The only sound was the hum of the fridge. I didn't come to sleep with you, Adrian said, voice firmer than he felt. Noah's lips curled into a slow, dangerous smile. Good. I don't want the fantasy. I want the truth. Adrian took a shaky breath. And what's that? That you want me. Noah stepped closer, not touching, but close enough that Adrian could feel the heat between them. I'm not some lost memory anymore, Adrian. I'm flesh. I'm here. And I'm looking you in the eye, asking if you're ready to stop lying. Adrian's mouth opened, but nothing came. Noah exhaled a laugh, low and amused. You keep saying you're happy, but your eyes beg for something real. I have real, Adrian said. Marcus is. A habit. A comfort. Not a fire. Adrian turned away, walked to the window. You're too young to understand. I'm not that 16-year-old boy anymore, Noah cut in. I waited, Adrian. I waited till I was 18 because I didn't want to be a mistake. I wanted to be a choice. Adrian gripped the windowsill. And you think if you stand here looking good and say the right words, I'll just forget everything I've built? Noah's voice dropped. I think you already are. Adrian spun around, angry now, but Noah was in front of him before he could speak, his hand lifting gently, fingers trailing along Adrian's jaw. You're shaking again, Noah whispered. Just like in the park. Adrian's breath caught. Do you want me to stop? Noah asked. Adrian didn't answer. Noah leaned in, slow and careful, pausing an inch from his lips. His breath was warm, sweet, familiar. I won't kiss you, he said, unless you move that last inch. Adrian's eyes fluttered shut. His heart screamed. His mind begged him to run. But his body leaned forward and kissed him. The moment their lips met, the world tilted. Noah's hands found Adrian's waist, pulling him close. Adrian's fingers curled into the fabric of Noah's shirt. The kiss wasn't gentle, it was deep, consuming, years of unspoken need colliding in a single, desperate moment. Adrian knew what he was doing, and he didn't stop. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, Noah rested his forehead against Adrian's. Finally, he murmured. That's the kiss I've been chasing since I was 16. Adrian stumbled back like he'd been struck. I have to go. Noah didn't follow. He just nodded. I won't ask you to stay. But don't pretend this didn't happen. Adrian fled the apartment, guilt clawing up his throat. His phone buzzed 3 times on the drive home. He didn't check it. He couldn't. When he walked into the house, Marcus was asleep on the couch, their dog curled at his feet. A movie paused on the screen. A half-eaten plate of dinner sat on the table. Adrian stood in the doorway, the taste of Noah still on his lips. He tiptoed into the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, head in his hands. The phone vibrated again. This time, he looked. Noah, don't run. You felt it too. Adrian stared at the message for a long time. He didn't respond. But he didn't delete it either. Adrian stood in the shower, letting the hot water punish him. He scrubbed his lips until they burned, but nothing washed away the memory of Noah's kiss. Or the way he had kissed back. The guilt was suffocating, curling around his ribs like smoke. He didn't sleep that night. Just lay beside Marcus in bed, eyes wide open, listening to the slow, peaceful breaths of a man he loved, but no longer in the way he used to. In the morning, Marcus stirred, pulling Adrian closer. "You're cold," he mumbled, voice still thick with sleep. Adrian didn't answer. He couldn't. He went through the motions, showered again, dressed, made coffee, kissed Marcus on the cheek. But it all felt like acting. Like he was living someone else's life on borrowed time. By noon, the silence between them was too loud. Marcus finally asked, "Are we okay?" Adrian hesitated, then nodded. "Just tired." It was true. But it wasn't honest. Later that day, his phone buzzed again. "Noah, I know you're scared. But I'm not." He stared at the message, his thumb hovering. Then he did something reckless. "Again." He replied. "Meet me. But we don't go inside. Public. Neutral." They met in the botanical garden, surrounded by flowers that bloomed too brightly for how gray Adrian felt inside. Noah was already there, sitting on a bench under a canopy of hanging blossoms. His smile was quieter today. Less cocky, more curious. "You look like hell," he said. Adrian sat beside him. "You look like temptation." Noah smirked. "That's not an apology. I'm not here to apologize." "Good. I didn't ask you to." They sat in silence for a while. The wind carried the scent of lilacs and wet earth. "I don't know who I am around you," Adrian finally said. "I feel reckless. Stupid." Noah nodded. "You feel alive." Adrian turned to him, eyes sharp. "That's not fair. Neither is pretending to be okay in a relationship that's lost its fire." Adrian swallowed. "I love Marcus. I don't doubt that," Noah said. "But you love me differently. And we both know it." There was a pause. Then Noah said something that cracked the air open. "I don't want to be your escape, Adrian. I want to be your choice." Adrian looked at him. "You're barely 18. And you're barely surviving," Noah shot back. "We're both on the edge. The difference is, I'm ready to jump." Adrian stood abruptly. "I shouldn't have kissed you. But you did." Noah's voice softened. "And I didn't force it. You came to me. Again and again." "Why?" Adrian's chest ached. "Because I'm broken." "No," Noah stood now too, eyes locking with his. "Because part of you has always been mine. Even when I was gone." They stood close, too close again. But this time, Adrian stepped back first. "I can't do this. Not like this. Not while I'm still with him." Noah didn't fight it. He just nodded slowly. "Then choose. But don't wait too long. Because I know my worth now, Adrian. And I'm not going to be someone's dirty secret." Adrian felt the blow of those words, but he respected them. He walked away without another kiss. Without another word. But something inside him had shifted. That night, Adrian came home to Marcus cooking dinner. Music played softly from the speakers. A perfect domestic moment. But Adrian felt like an intruder in his own life. Marcus smiled, wiping his hands on a dish towel. "I was thinking we should take a trip. Just the two of us. Clear our heads. Rekindle, maybe?" Adrian sat down slowly, the weight of everything pressing on his shoulders. "Marcus," he said, voice steady but quiet, "can we talk?" Marcus looked up. The smile faded. "Of course." Adrian took a deep breath. "I kissed someone." The silence that followed was brutal. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just stood there, blinking, like the words hadn't registered yet. "You what?" he finally whispered. Adrian didn't flinch. "It was someone from my past. Someone I never really let go of." Marcus laughed once, bitter, sharp. "Is that supposed to make it better?" "No," Adrian said. "But it's the truth." The silence stretched again. "Do you love him?" Marcus asked. Adrian didn't lie. "I don't know what I feel. But I know I've been lying to both of us for too long." Marcus nodded slowly, the pain in his eyes unmistakable. "Then maybe we both deserve better." They didn't fight. They didn't drag it out. That night, Adrian slept on the couch. In the morning, Marcus was gone, left a note, not a scene. I hope you find what you're looking for. Adrian sat alone, the apartment too quiet. But inside the quiet was something new. Not guilt. Not regret. Clarity. He picked up his phone. Adrian, I made my choice. Let's talk. Noah's reply came seconds later. Finally,